Good morning, students. We are going to have a revision of French Revolution. We have already discussed what is revolution. Revolution is a drastic change in the existing pattern of society or any establishment or anything. In political revolution means suddenly removing the government and another government comes in. In social field means the existing social structure will be demolished and new social setup has come up. In industrial field, new business and new techniques which will produce more things in a short time. We call it industrial revolution. In agricultural revolution, we call that's a green revolution, more production. White revolution, more production in milk. So like the revolutions are sudden and drastic changes. So first ever drastic change took place in the world society, that is the French Revolution. The people of their own country came out against it and removed the government, existing government. And they told, we will have a democratic government. And that took place in 14th July 1789, that is the National Day of France. And French society was divided into three divisions. That is, first estate, second estate, and third estate. First estate members were the religious leaders. That is, the Pope, cardinals, bishops, priests, and the ordinary people. That's a religious group. And here the leaders are the priest and above. Priest is above, it is bishop. Above the bishop there is a cardinal. Above cardinal there is a pope. So that is a setup of Catholic Church. So they dominated the society. They told others what to do because it is concerned with the religion. God is a supernatural power, we know it. So when the relationship with God comes, naturally these religious leaders dominate because people are afraid of them, of God. So they were the first estate members. Second estate are the nobles, the rich fellows of the society, financially rich, and who were said to be able to rule the ruling class of people. They were called nobles. So these two estates, then comes all other sections of the people. Goldsmiths, farmers, peasants, any kind of all of the doctors, engineers, teachers, every member of the society other than those who belong to those two classes of people were called third estate members. And you must understand the first estate members, that's the clergy. Members of the clergy are the members who have been selected from the third estate. As a member from the third estate can become a priest, and that priest becomes the member. Naturally, he has grown up, he may become pope or priest. That is a setup. So naturally, the French society wanted to remove the government, and it came out into the streets on 14th July 1789. For that, there are some philosophers supported. That is, one is Rousseau, Jacques Rousseau, who has written a book named Social Contract. He tells there is an agreement between the people and the ruling class. It's a contract. And as per the contract, it is a responsibility of the ruling class to take care of the people. And whenever the ruling class violates the agreement, it is the responsibility of the others to remove the ruling class. So it is an agreement. So he tells that French society, the French government has violated that agreement. So naturally, the French people have had the right to overthrow the government. Then Montesquieu tells there is a division of power. This division of power is implemented first in America between Parliament, executive and judicial. When kings were existing, king was the all in one, 3 in 1. King was executive, king was the parliament, king was the judicial. Nothing more than that. So all the three were the party. What are the rules and regulations? He will prepare how punishment should be given. He will judge judicially, and how and what punishment, that judicially, and that implementation of that action, catching the person or doing the things, that is done by executive. So all those things. So that was what Montesquieu said. So division of power. So the people began to say there should be division of power. First division of power was implemented in American Constitution. Okay, 1781. So that division of power, social contract agreement, John Locke, another person who told about a contract. So all these philosophers have made the educated people of France to come out and ask for a change in the French society. So the first estate were dominating, second estate dominating, the society was 3 divisions. And in the parliament there were 300 members each from each sections. Okay. First estate, second estate and third estate. So naturally any decisions, it was decided that 3 votes. First estate will have 1 vote, second estate will have 1 vote, and third estate will have a 1 vote. The king told that. So naturally, the first estate and second estate join together and they will vote for any decisions. Second and third estate will be separate. But the third estate members told no, all the 600 members, first and second estate 300, other 300 together, will have, each individual will have a separate voting. That was not accepted by the king. So the people protested and led into the revolution of France. They removed the king. King was executed. There was a person named Robespierre who led the reign of terror, guillotined anybody who questioned him. And the Parliament of France was renamed as the National Assembly. Citizens were given right to vote. Those who were rich enough were given the right to vote. Ladies were not given. And they wrote down the rights of men and citizens. A new government, elected government came to power. And the slogan of French Revolution was right, equality, liberty, equality and fraternity. Fraternity means brotherhood. So the French society dominated and had a change. And the problem was mainly, must go back again on taxation. First estate and second estate who were rich enough, means nobles, clergymen, priests, who were having plenty of land and property in the hand. At the same time, every member in the third estate was bound to give a tax to the church, named tithe. So that tax, so with the tax that's collected and the resources they had, it was the richest forms. They had plenty of money. Plenty of money transactions were taking place with them, but they were not bound to pay any tax to the king. Then second group is nobles who were rich. They were having plenty of property of their own. Many were working under them. And every villager had the responsibility of working under the field of landlord without getting any salary. Like that, they were rich, but they were also not bound to pay any tax to the government. So naturally, the burden of the tax was on the shoulders of the third estate members. So carrying these people, paying the taxes and bearing their unwanted activities have become the problem for the third estate members. So third estate members were not ready to pay taxes. So King Louis XVI called the meeting of the parliament, and that meeting of the parliament, the third estate members did not permit the king to collect the taxes. That is the reason of sudden reason of revolution that took place in 1789. You know, the capital of French society is Paris. Okay. So then ultimately the king and the people agree, and they decided to make France a constitutional monarchy. We know at present constitutional monarchy is existing in Japan, in England, and in Morocco. So the three prominent countries which follow constitutional monarchy. Constitutional monarchy means there is a constitution, accepted constitution is there. You know what is constitution? And there is a king also. King is only a titular head, means in the name. He has no real power. Power will be in the hands of the parliament, and the prime ministers will be holding the responsibility of it. You know, in Japan also recently the prime minister has changed. In Britain, Boris Johnson is the prime minister, and in Morocco, all these areas, kings are only titular. That's a constitutional monarchy. King is controlled by a constitution. That's only the constitutional monarchy. So the constitutional monarchy. Then still the king was not ready to accept the constitutional monarchy. The people protested against the king. He was caught because he was not ready to accept the constitutional monarchy term. So they caught hold of the king, killed the king, executed the king, and France was declared a republic. Republic means republic, again to the public. Means the head of the country is elected by the people. That's a republic. That's a simple meaning of it. Head of the country is in India, the president is elected. So it is a called republic. You know, nowadays those who are reading newspaper, you know what happens in America. In America, the new election has taken place for the post of the president. Joe Biden is going to become the president on 20th of this month. And that is also a republic. So most of the countries in the world are republics. They look after the governmental system. And with a particular period, they get elections, new presidents come, or the same president is elected by the people. So that is a republic. France had become a republic. That is what we see in this. The guillotining system has been. In French society, the women were not given equal rights. The rights of men and citizen, no consideration for women. Women were not given equal rights, equal responsibilities at that time. They were expected to be in the houses. But some of the women had come out into the streets to protest against the government, but they were not given the right to vote. That right to participate in the government in French society was given to them by end of 19th century, 18th and 19th century. There are ladies who came out into the streets, into the protest against this one, like Olympie de Boris, etc. You know, another important aspect of French society at that time was slaves. Slavery. People being used as working machines. No freedom for them. They were like animals, ill-treated. They were just given the food to eat, and just like how we are having buffaloes and cows or bulls, that way they were treated. We have got a cow shed, like that they were having a shed to live. If any cow is making so much of trouble, tightly, you know, like that human beings also were tied. So that was slavery school. But French society abolished slavery under leadership of Robespierre. But later on, when Napoleon came again, slavery was reintroduced. But slavery was abolished in French society in 1848. So that is what we must see about French society. You know, ordinary life, people have come out, people began to interact with others, people had movement freedoms, restrictions were, dress changes were there, what they must wear, what food they must eat, everything has gone out, equal status, equal society has taken place, and in France, and ultimately, Napoleon Bonaparte has become the ruler of France, and he continued as a dictator or a king of France. So the revolution came to an end, and he became the ruler of France, and he remained there till 1815, till his defeat in the Battle of Waterloo. He was defeated. Again, there is a change in the French society. The European kings have re-established kingship in France. Louis XVII was brought back and brought changes in society. But that again changes. Vienna Congress was there. Vienna Congress has changed everything again. That will still. So Napoleon, who was an army commander of France, became the real ruler, elected person. Later on, he became the real dictator of France. But French people respected him. That is Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, thank you.